Hello everyone and welcome back to another Shnuckatwo video. Today I want to talk about my midlife crisis, right? So I've been working at an internship for the past couple weeks. For the past like 2 months. Couple weeks. And I really okay, I'll say it like this. If there were a job I could pick, I think it's amongst the top, right? The work culture is great. The people are really great. The work is fine. Like, it's decently enjoyable. But I just hate work, you know? And I know it's so privileged and coddled and, like, whatever to be able to say that and say, oh, I hate work, you know? It's so, like, bratty to say that. Bratty? Anyways, you guys get what I mean to like be like, oh, I don't want to work a corporate job. But so true. It's what I realized. Like, out of my 2 months here, I just feel like I've been doing nothing here. I don't think I can find meaning in my work. At least not here. I don't think it's the company's problem at all because I think it's a really great company, right? Like, if I do go into software engineering, how am I going to find meaning in my work? I'm not. Sure, I'm going to make a cool product, like, oh, it's cool, but I'm not making it for myself. I'm always going to be making it for the company. And it's just, I the whole map is broken. What in the world? Okay, I'll just go to another area. But yeah, like, it's just not for myself. And I want to, I don't know, I don't even think I would want to do something for myself. I just don't like doing work. I think it's really just that simple, right? And I think maybe it's stupid to be saying that because I have to work, but I don't know. It's just made it. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm rambling a bit, but all this has really thrown me into almost a midlife crisis. And why I say it's a midlife crisis is it's because I feel like I've worked 2 months of my internship. It's not like I've worked 20 years and like wasted my life at some soulless corporate job, right? I've worked 2 months at internships. It's my first time working an actual job, and I'm having this midlife crisis. So it's not really an actual one, but I think it's this very similar thought process to many people who have midlife crises. It's like I've worked my entire life here. What now? You know, like this is so meaningless. This is, and I'm just thinking so far ahead that just in order to prevent that, if I do work at like I think if I do actually lock in a software engineering job, I'm gonna stay there for 10 years. I'm gonna be there for the rest of my life. I think. I don't foresee myself being brave enough to jump out of there. You know what I mean? And sure, it might be me being avoidant to do my job applications to make an excuse for this, but at the end of the day, if I get a sweet job, if I get a return offer from a sweet internship, I think I'm staying there for a while. Um, I don't know. Maybe because like I think what'll happen is I'll get used to work more, and then I'll be like, oh, this is not as bad as I first thought, and then it'll be fine. But yeah, I mean, I guess the other thing to consider is what alternatives really are there. If I don't just actually work an office job, there's not much else I can really do, right? Like content creator, no, I would not be self-directed enough, or it would just not be sustainable. You know, um, what else? Like, I guess my ideal job would to be a high school teacher, but I feel like I still want money. You know, everyone wants money. At the end of the day, it just comes down to how much do I value money over my own sanity, I guess, right? And I think as long as I make above like 100, 150 ish K a year, which is a very high bar, I'd say, I'd be very happy. Um, and anything under that, I guess it would still be fine. But I just don't know. You know what I mean? It's like so. I just don't know. I just don't know. At the end of the day, it's so tough to decide. But I think what the internship has shown me is I just cannot foresee myself liking a corporate job at all. Sitting in front of a computer all day for like 8 hours. Sure, lunch break is great. The food is free and there's always different options every day. That's very great. I love talking to the coworkers during that 1 hour of time. But anything outside of that is just work. You know, it's not like school. I like school because you could talk to people. You could play games on your Chromebook and whatnot. It's at work. You just have to do work. It's all the aspects of school except 10, 15, 20 times worse because you can't talk to people while you're doing it. You know, it's not like you're studying together at school, at college, when you can talk to people, when you have people around. Doing work in college is fun because you're still surrounded by people. Work, you're surrounded by people, but so isolating because you're never working directly with anyone. Sure, you might have a group project, but you're still split up just working on your own, right? And maybe, I am too idealistic and I have to face the harsh realities of the world that if I do want to actually have 100, 150K, I just need to sacrifice this, you know? And that's why these jobs pay so high, because they're so soulless. But I don't know if I'm willing to do that and if I can. I mean, I could. I just don't. Like, I think it would be a really tough decision. And it's a decision I still have time to think about for sure. But I'm just glad that I did this internship to realize this. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's my midlife crisis, I guess. I've actually been. Well, the first couple of days I worked, I was crashing out really hard over. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be the rest of my life. This is going to be the rest of my life. And then 2 months in, I think it's not like, oh my God, this is horrible. This is going to be the rest of my life. This is going to be the rest of my life. It's more just like, oh, these 2 months have passed so fast. Anything after this will pass even, 2 years is not going to feel that long if I actually, get a job for 2 years. And so my life is going to just snap by if I just stay. These have been a very fast 2 months of my life. I think it's so routine, so structured. The more time you spend in the office time is basically lost. The show Severance, right? I don't think, from a time loss perspective, I would hate losing 9 to 5 from my life. Because truly, what joy do you find in those hours? Does anyone find true joy in their work? Maybe I'm just really uninspired. I think it just could be that. Maybe I really don't like computer science. I'm super uninspired. But, I mean, working is okay. It's, somewhat joyful. But, at the end of the day, and I know there's arguments against this. This is literally, I'm just arguing for hedonism almost, right? Oh, work sucks. But I think there's some forms of deliberate work that are fun. Planting a garden, playing Minecraft. I think Minecraft is kind of work, honestly. You can argue, grinding. Why do people grind the game? Because it's fun. You feel progress. You feel very, very tangible progress you can see in your eyes. And I guess then the correct answer for me would be to go into entrepreneurship or something like that. But I just don't think, or maybe this is an excuse too, I just don't think I'm self-directed enough to do that, if the issue is that I don't hate doing work, I don't hate doing physical labor. I didn't hate teaching summer camp to kids, but if that's a problem, if the problem is at its core just doing something I don't like, doing something just for the money is the problem, then obviously there are other things I can do, but I don't know. It's very tough. I really don't like thinking about my career because at the end of the day, I think college is the last time you actually truly get freedom. After that, you're bound to the workforce. I guess you still kind of are free until you have kids, but I just don't think after college, your parents can still support you a bit. After college, I don't think it makes sense for parents to support you that much anymore. And so you really have to figure things out for yourself and go on vacations not by yourself, but with your own money and stuff like that, and that requires a job and so on and so forth. But anyways, maybe I am thinking too far ahead. It's always good to think ahead, but I just don't know what to do, man. At the end of the day, it could be I always think moving up to the next stage of life is horrible. I thought when I was in middle school, I think I've told this story a couple times, but one of the nights before high school, I sat in bed. I was in China or something, and I was about to come back to America. School was about to start. I sat in bed, and I started crying. What was I crying over? I was crying over the fact that I thought once you got to high school, you just couldn't play any video games anymore. I wouldn't have time to play video games. There's going to be so much homework. I'm never going to be able to play Roblox again. This is so sad. Being my dramatic self as always. Always so dramatic. And I was like, oh, this is so horrible, you know. And look how high school turned out. Way more fun than middle school. I made so many friends. I definitely played a lot of Roblox, um, and I had so much time, you know. And so maybe I'm just overthinking in that sense, but I do think there's something different this time in the sense that I have tried. I have tried. I have tried this, and I have maybe thought that maybe corporate life is not for me. But really, what else is there to do? You know. Anyways, that is all I have really to say. I hope everything turns out to be fine. I really do. And maybe I need some sort of mindset shift. But I really, like, one of my friends is also interning, and he had similar feelings, not as strong. But he was talking to one of the second year interns, and the intern was like, oh, you just get used to it. Like, at first it's a bit jarring, but you get used to it. And I kind of can see that. I'm kind of getting used to it, you know. But I don't know, it just feels so sad. And like, I know it's only sad if I think it's sad, but I feel like it's such a waste of life. You know, like, at the end of the day, I know it's just a means to an end, but also, this ties in the conversation I've been having with another one of my friends is, like, should we go back to, would ancient society be better for us? Not, like, as hunter-gatherers even, would that even be better than us? And it might be true. Like, I think we could be happier without jobs, without society even. I do think society brings a lot of benefits I would not ever want to give up, but at the same time, there is a point, like, jobs, modern jobs are so soul-sucking, I think, and so sad. I mean, that's one way you can view it. Obviously, people that are in the jobs don't really think it's that sad. They have families. They support their families. Work is just a means. It's not that bad. But I just, man, like, maybe I should just become a teacher. Like, the more I think about it, I mean, what am I scared of? Just disappointing my parents, right? Like, would that disappoint them? Maybe not that much. I don't know. I think also as a second generation immigrant, I don't know if that's the right term. Like, my parents immigrated after they graduated high school in China, right? Or after college-ish. Yeah, in China. So, and I feel like there's so much pressure on you to get a high-paying job. Like, I've talked to so many second-gen immigrants, and they have a very almost obligation to do better than their parents, right? Their parents worked up from nothing. My parents worked up from basically nothing. Like, and even when they had nothing, they worked so hard to give every single ounce of their earnings and pour that into my upbringing, you know, me and my brother's upbringing. Like, even though, like, I can guarantee you, even though, like, my parents were earning close to nothing, like, I remember my dad was, like, doing his PhD, and he was living off the stipend, and my mom was going into, like, wait tables. Like, even even under those circumstances, every Christmas I would have so many toys, you know, like, they would buy me so many, like, sure, they were used, sure, like, they found, like, places, I don't know how they managed it, but, like, if you look in our playroom right now, there's so many toys in there, just because, not because I think my parents had, like, copious amounts of money to buy them, but they just spent so much on there. Like, we would forego eating out. We would forego, like, my parents wouldn't even let me get ice cream because, like, money was not loose, you know what I mean? And they spent it all on me, you know, like, and so, I don't know. It just feels almost an obligation for me to retire them or pay them back or send them on a bunch of vacations, you know. Like, a scary thought I thought of is, if I, you know, if I ever, let's say, I was born, like, I life swapped with my parents almost, right? So I was living life as my dad or as my mom. they put in so much work to get to where I am. Like, would I, like, if they were me, would I put in the same amount of work for that, you know? And so far I haven't, you know. All I've been is living off the fruits of their labor. But what have I put in? Like, sure, I studied for 3 hours a day during junior year of high school for a couple months. Great. You know, I wrote a couple college essays. Great. But compared to what they did, like, this is nothing, you know? They've been working for, like, what? Not 30 years, like 20 years at this point, you know? Day in, day out. They study for an entire year in China, you know? Just to get here. Every day. They didn't even go home for Chinese New Year. Isn't that crazy? That's like foregoing your Christmas break just to study. Because just for a shot at coming to, you know what I mean? Like, they poured in so much that I just feel like I should and am obligated to give back, you know? Like, for my own conscience, I agree. Like, I think, you know, this is another discussion to be had, but, like, I think all feelings of obligation to give back are just driven by your emotions, you know? Like, there's no, I don't believe in any objective morality in the sense that it's not necessarily wrong if you don't. It's just you would feel bad about it. Well, at least I would feel bad, and that's why I don't want to do it, you know? Anyways, but that makes it, like, almost immoral because that your morals are your... Okay, anyways, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. But, right, and so, in that sense, I just really... But then the argument is, like, should I grind super hard? Like, theoretically, if this is true, right, what I should be doing is grinding super hard and getting a 500K a year trading job. I think I can do it, right? At this point, maybe it's a bit late, but if, let's say, this summer, I put in 8 hours a day into studying for that, I think I could get it. I actually, like, I do think so. Like, if I actually studied and put in the work, I think, like, a lot of people could. You know, you just have to study the problems, you have to study the interview questions, you do the prep, you study super hard, and you can make 500K a year, right? Sure, the job is soulless, it's mindless, it's very excruciating, but if I work that for 3 years, I'm set for life. 3-4 years, yeah, I can make my parents set for life, my brother set for life even, you know? And that's very enticing, but I just don't know, right? Because at the same time, why did my parents come here? To give me a better future too? And, like, as a parent, right, thinking from their perspective, if I worked so hard for my child and my child ended up not being that appreciative, or being very appreciative but, you know, ending up being a teacher or something, I'd be fine with it too. I'd be very happy because that is what I worked for, you know? And I mean, this is a discussion to be had with my parents at the end of the day, but, like, I think that's another argument to be made. It's just, I should just do what I want because, like, I shouldn't take into account what my parents want because they worked for my wants, you know? Like, yeah. So, I don't know. It's very much, I am very, very confused as to what I want to do. And so, it's tough. I mean, I'm very glad that I'm having these sort of qualms and thoughts before I lock in a job, you know, throughout the process. Obviously, I'm going to grind. I've been grinding lead code, or I started the past couple of days again. I tried doing one every day in the summer, and I stopped. But I started again. I'm doing like 2-3 per day now in order to keep it with the pace. I need to start filling out applications soon. Like, what I'm telling myself is I need to give, because this is my internship right now is like more like fintech, not really SWE. I need to give a big company SWE internship a shot and see if I actually like SWE, right? If I don't like SWE either, then that becomes a problem, right? But I should secure this as a path. It doesn't hurt, right? A SWE internship, very good compensation, and secures a pathway to a return offer if I do well, right? Like, this is just peace of mind. I'm working for the peace of mind, and it's not even, like, I think my coding skills are okay. at least my algorithms is probably pretty okay. I just have to study a little bit and brush some of the interviews, edit my resume a little bit. It's really not that much work for a pretty big safety net reward, you know? And this would probably be the default choice. But what I'm saying is I really do need to start thinking about if this is really what I want to do. It's impossible to know, obviously. Where do I have to get off? It's impossible to know, really, until I actually until I actually do a trial, right? But I don't know. It's just something I should be thinking about career-wise. Like, I like computer science, but if someone asks me, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? I don't want to sit in front of a computer for the rest of my life. You know, working on project after project that I really don't care too much about. Like, I can see a world where I do that, and I'll be fine doing that, but in my current state, I just cannot mentally wrangle myself into that position. I just feel like there's so much more, you know? Or maybe I am too hopeful. But, yeah. The dilemmas of modern society. So yeah, this is my mini midlife crisis, I guess. Alright. Not really midlife, but envisioning myself in midlife and seeing it. Yeah, okay. That's all I really have to say. Comment what you guys think below. I know this is probably a really long one. But this is my midlife crisis. Going to New York tomorrow. I'm very happy. I see. And again, if you ask me, do I like my life right now? Yeah, it's fine. It's okay, you know. So it's like sufficeable. It works. I could be decently happy, you know. Especially if I lived in the city next to all my friends, I could go to restaurants every day. Sure. You know, but would I be more happy in other circumstances? Yes. Am I spoiled? Yes. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll think about it. I'll talk more. Yeah?
你明天几点去纽约呀
10点半的车.
早点睡啊
Yeah. But that's all I have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah. Please comment if you have any advice down below. And I will see you guys all tomorrow. Alright, goodbye.